Guys, we got to get in here and discuss this situation. Now, we are not going to forget Porsha being overheard saying that she would F Charles Oakley. Well, the thing with it is, Charles Oakley is a married man. Why did Porsha say that? Well, Angela Oakley has spoken out, and you know what she said? You guys will not be surprised. But she actually said, given the opportunity, if the opportunity existed, Porsha would do it.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Now listen, Angela Oakley, Real Housewives of Atlanta, her interview with Carlos King is absolutely fire. She speaks on a lot of things. Now, we, of course, if you guys have been watching Real Housewives of Atlanta, we had already spoken about Porsha being overheard saying that she was gonna F this woman husband. Of course, she lied about it. Drew said she said it, and you know, she finally owned up to it because, she couldn't lie anymore because people actually overheard her and it wasn't just Angela, which Angela got some good ass ears that she was inside the house and heard it, okay? But Angela actually sits down with Carlos King and she says flat out, if given an opportunity, she believes that Porsha would in fact sleep with her husband. But what she said is, and we talking about Porsha Williams of Real Housewives of Atlanta, the thing that she said, though, that would prevent it from happening is because she understands who her husband is. Now, we did find out that they did have some infidelity in their marriage before. She said they worked on it. But I want y'all to hear exactly what Angela Oakley had to say with regards to Porsha Williams. Now, this is coming from Carlos King's YouTube channel, and I'm going to go ahead and play the audio.
The reason why when Porsha made the inappropriate joke about husband, did that trigger something in you just based on what you had to deal with not only women DMing you while you were dating, not only this happened when you were married to him, knowing that within your husband experience, there are beautiful women who don't mind being a side chick. They wear it on their chest. And you having to separate from him for 3 to 4 months because of this. When you heard that, did that trigger the past trauma that you had to experience in terms of like, I am reminded of what I had to recover from?
Okay, so let me kind of recap that. So basically, what what Carlos is asking Angela, when you heard Porsha say, I'm a F your husband, did that trigger you? Was it traumatizing for you based on what you and your husband had went through? Now, I want y'all to hear Angela's response. I think her response was spot on. I'm not going to say what she said, but let's get into it.
A lot of people think, I read in the DMs like, oh, if Porsha can sleep with him, then he ain't. And why are you so concerned that a woman said that? Said that about your husband. I wasn't. If it was 2017, yeah. But being that we did the work and I really, really trust my husband, the issue was it wasn't really Charles. It was the disrespect to me as his wife.
So Angela said it wasn't anything related to my husband, although this woman said she would F my husband. It was the disrespect from woman to woman for you to tell another woman, especially as a woman who can't keep a husband, telling another woman that you gonna F and suck her husband dangling.
As a woman on this show with you. That's where the disrespect. I don't even let the disrespect get to Charles. You're disrespecting me. First of all, we're going to acknowledge me. That's where I got triggered. She could have said everything she wanted to say about Charles, but you're talking about my husband. So first you have to deal with me. And you're doing it, you're saying it in earshot of me,
So Angela is pretty much like, girl, not only did you disrespect me, you said it, and I was clearly right upstairs. You disrespected me pretty much in my face, and it's a little bit too much.
That's where the disrespect was. And it didn't take me to any trauma or anything like, oh, he cheated. No, 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 no. This is woman to woman. This is grown woman stuff. You're disrespecting me, Angela. You know what I mean?
So let's clear it up. She didn't feel any particular way about what she said as it related to her husband. She felt like from woman to woman, girl, you disrespected me. Angela said that people were really DMing her, telling her if Porsha could sleep with your husband, then he's not your husband. And she's clearly not saying that. She's saying you disrespected me, but the way you disrespected me is just something that I don't tolerate. And Angela will drag Porsha. Let's finish getting into it.
Like, I'm here as a woman trying to do my job just like you are. And I don't know if it was a threat that she would have acted on or tried to. And it would have been like nothing she's ever seen before.
Angela said, Porsha, if you try it, it will be nothing like you ever saw in your life, honey, because she gonna get with you, okay? Try it if you want to, ho.
She did. You know what I mean? Because I'm just not that type of girl you can play with. Like,
don't play with her. Porsha.
You can't disrespect me to my face about my husband and think you're gonna act on that. That's just not the games I play. But I don't even think people see that the disrespect was aimed at me.
Did you ever think for a second that Porsha was capable of acting out on that comment?
Well, I thought she was capable, but could she do it? No. But
that is the part I wanted y'all to hear. She said, did you think that Porsha was capable? Angela said, absolutely yes. Hello, yes. Yes, yes, and yes. Now let's get into why she said she feels like yes, Porsha would have did it, but she know her husband ain't going for it.
that goes back to the work me and my husband has done. You see what I'm saying? I hope that's clear.
I get it. Okay? Because I want to clear the air for the world. It was never about Porsha being capable of acting out on the threat successfully,
Right.
because you and your husband did the work. And regardless if Porsha wanted to or not, your issue was never could she be successful in doing that to Charles, because it could be Porsha, it could be any woman, but it has nothing to do with Porsha per se. I know my husband, and I know that the work we've done eradicates him from even wanting to do that if it's presented to him. You were more focused on this woman is saying something about my husband, and she's disrespecting me, and she's doing it behind my back, and she's doing it laughing and joking with other women, two who are married, and they're all thinking this is a joke, and they're playing in my face.
That's where it was. The disrespect was there from the beginning.
Got it.
So as far as Charles, if it wasn't Porsha, like you said, it could be Porsha. Yeah, it could be a girl. Right. That is every day. There are women now who.
So isn't that crazy that, we had this conversation, but when a woman that has interacted with you feels like you would, in fact, have tried to sleep with her husband. If y'all paid attention, what Angela said, oh, yeah, absolutely, she would have done it. But the only reason and the only way that she won't is because I understand my husband and I understand we did the work. So Angela said, absolutely, Porsha would have sucked her husband if Charles was game. Now, why does people think this about Porsha? Like, why? You have a very bad reputation. trying to sleep with folks' husband. Allegedly, you and Simon crossed over when he was with Fallon, but yet you thought that you were going to have this great life with a husband that you allegedly stole from another woman. And then you have the audacity to go to work and tell your coworker you going to suck and F her husband. You get your dirty self.
Nothing, got the scoop on lock, spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Lakeysha Keysha, queen of the plot, hit that bell.